Welcome to the Waldorf GridIron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret gridiron bunker beneath Bolsdorf Field. Now, let's meet the captains of today's podcast.
Welcome to the Waldorf GridIron Podcast, big episode number 16, I believe. Troy, we're getting right up there. That feels like almost 4 months of episodes, doesn't it?
It is.
Actually, let's say
plus
4 months in a week, you know, for our avid listeners that try to follow along. We were we took a hiatus. So
we're doing a little renovation on the bunker.
So come to find out, if you've ever been in an old an old mine, you know, and have those big timbers. Mm-hmm. So the roof or the ceiling, I guess, of the bunker has those. They're starting to age out. I mean, they didn't use that bunker for 18, 20 years. Yeah. I mean, I think they used to do initiation down there until all the hazing laws. And so we had to get down there. Yeah. We had to do a whole bunch of renovations, and we had to resupport a lot of stuff just because with the season coming up and we got some bigger guys that are going to be running over the top of us, we don't want to get crushed for one. And if we're going to keep doing this thing,
that's correct. You got to have a safe workspace.
Yes, I mean it's a bunker. It's got to be durable.
That's right. Yeah, because right. We finally get we get line that's of good size, stomping around above our heads.
Yep.
You can't have weak timbers.
True.
So we replaced all the timbers.
It's more of a mitigation measure than it really was. I mean, was it necessary? Of course it was. So we apologize for those folks that are going through withdrawal, but we're back.
We replaced all the timbers with steel except for one, and that one is a surprise. We don't know which one it is. It was just a fun little joke to say, well, one of these is going to fall in.
You know, and there's a lot of really great names of old Warrior greats down there too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it's pretty great.
Yeah.
So anyway, our team captains for this episode, we're going to have a couple student assistants here, and they're going to give a different perspective that we haven't heard before. We've got Zach Morel. You've heard that name before if you're Warrior faithful. Mm-hmm. And then we've got a newcomer. J.D. Ward. So we'll start off with Zach. Zach is actually returning to the Warriors as helping coach wide receivers. Is that right?
Yes, sir. And punters and kickers.
Why are you doing wide receivers? Did you do any of that last year?
Just a little bit here and there.
Yeah, Zach was he was a receiver for the Warriors last year. Now, pretty impressive numbers. He averaged 25.5 yards per catch.
Yeah, you caught a lot of balls.
Yeah. Well, 10, and but 4 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
So it really is puzzling to me why they didn't target him more, because
why didn't they?
40% of the time that he caught the ball, touchdown.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
What happened there?
I just did my part. Anytime they needed a play or something, and I got the ball, I made sure something happened.
Yeah,
I'm not one to want to be the ball every time.
Yeah,
we got a lot of great athletes. That's just what our coaches do. They bring in some really good athletes coming in.
Got to mix it up a little bit. I suppose.
Hard for a quarterback to just pick one person to throw to. So I just waited till it was my turn, and
I would have thrown to you quite a bit.
Appreciate it.
Not a lot of mystery in my quarterbacking skills.
Looking for old number 5.
That's right. In fact, the closer you are, the easier it would be for me.
Yeah.
Don't be taking off on a long because I'm not going to reach you.
Yeah.
I do a little screen pass every time. Just
exactly.
Go right across there. That's where I'd be. Straight in front of me, not even going to look left or right. Probably just throw to not get tackled. So I hope you could catch it. It seemed like he always could.
You pull Zach off the side. Hey.
Yeah.
We're going to do a 15-yard fly route. I'm just going to chuck it.
That's right. There's a good chance I'm going to throw this backwards. So I need you to be behind me. It's not a forward pass, so who cares? Yeah.
True. So Zach hails from Oceanside, California. That the hometown, Zach?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. And so did you go to Vista High School?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you were number 5 there as well. You with the Panthers, the Vista High School Panthers?
Yes, sir.
You know, there's a lot of Vista because you get out to California, everything's a Vista.
Yeah.
And there's like the Del Vista and the Mar Vistas. And so I really was, I was kind of, just plucking straws there. You went from Vista High School to Palomar Community College, the Comets.
Yes, sir.
And they threw 10 more on you, and you were number 15.
Yeah, I was 15 my sophomore and junior year of high school because there was an older kid with 5. So I had to wait my turn to get it. And then when I got to JUCO, they were just like, you look good in 15 and just gave me the number. I didn't really get to pick.
So what's with the number 5?
Actually goes way back to when I was like 8. My mom, her old office partner, her son played hockey, and I grew up playing hockey, and he took me to some camps and like developed me a little bit, and I really enjoyed like being around him, and that was his number. And I picked it and just kind of rolled with it for a little while. And then my mom found an old picture of my grandpa, who was like my best friend. He passed away when I was 5, and his number, we found out, my mom never knew this, but we found out his number in basketball was 5, like his whole life.
Wow, that's
And
great.
he passed away when you were 5.
Yeah, so 5 is like a weirdly strange number that connects me to a lot of things. So,
All right.
Well,
How many years did you play at Waldorf?
so my first year here was the 2019 season.
Yeah.
Played that season. I was 80 for people that came to those games. Played that season. Ended up breaking my ankle towards the end of that spring, like when COVID hit. Had some school trouble because I had a house fire. So when we went home,
Yeah.
I didn't have any internet. I was sleeping in my car for about 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, so
Did your car have internet?
Oh, I wish. Didn't pass my classes. So that COVID year, we had that weird conference. I didn't play that season. And
Okay.
then came back and played this last season.
Nice.
So coming back from my final year of school, really wanted to get into coaching. So that's kind of why I'm stepping in to be a student coach instead of playing hockey and track this first semester.
Yeah, multi-sport athlete.
Good place to
Blue.
learn how
Yeah.
to coach.
I mean, you did very well at the.
Sorry. What's going on?
We're gonna talk about JD later.
Okay. She's like, I'd like to introduce myself to this conversation again. I'm over here. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Wow. I'd say that was rude, but well, whatever.
He's
We'll get
like,
into-
boring. This is
So-
boring conversation. When do we get to me?
Exactly. And so one of the things, and we're going to get into family after a little while, Zach, but I'll tell you what, Zach's mom made it to a lot of games last year.
Okay.
And you want to talk about a rabid. Now, obviously, she's a huge fan of number 5 last year.
Yeah.
Zach Morel. But you want to talk about a Warrior fan, senior day. I mean, we needed your mom on the hype squad because she was all up in that. She is not a Dickinson fan whatsoever.
Not at all. And she was just walking down when they called my name when we were doing the little senior walk. She was just screaming at the players, "Are you ready to go? Yeah, Pete Dickinson." She was just like, I've seen her get pretty excited, but man, I had friends coming up to me that like I've known her the last 3 years, and they're like, "Man, I've never seen your mom like that." And I was like, "I'm not even gonna lie to you. I haven't even seen her like that."
Yeah, your mom's cool.
The
though.
Dickinson fans were like, what did we do to her?
Yeah.
Well, so now that you're coaching, is she going to come back for any games? That's really what I want to know.
Yeah. That's a great question. I guess the 2 seasons I played here, she's only missed 4 or 5 of my games.
Be
I'm
ashamed.
trying to talk her into coming out for at least one.
Yeah.
I try to bring up the Dickinson game, but that's away, and she doesn't really want to go try to cheer
Well,
there.
it's going to be cold too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Eastern Montana and all.
Yeah.
Practically, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Flying out from Cali. I mean, she did come out, a couple times in a row last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, flew out, and you know, she's a member of that family, that tailgate, the GridIron Club, if you will. So, so you also were one of 2 Warriors that played in the 2021 NAIA National All-Star Game. You and
Slater
that
Gifford.
fella.
Yes, sir.
What was that like?
That was a good time, actually. That's actually where I met Coach B, the new offensive coordinator. Met him out there. It was actually kind of tough because that second to last game against Iowa Wesleyan is when I had that bad injury, and I was in the hospital for about 7 hours.
I remember it well.
Yeah, so I didn't really get too much playing in. It was first time in about a month running again. So I had to go out there in a place that was humid when I just came from Iowa, which was cold. So it was tough trying to get back into the shape of things, but it was just a good time meeting a bunch of people. I met probably 9 guys that actually played in JUCO. Just met a bunch of people that actually live around me. That was pretty exciting. Met a lot of kids from the East Coast teams that were just like, man, you want honestly some big people. Those East Coast kids are gigantic. That team was just huge when we played them. It was very noticeable on who was West and who was East. I don't know why, but it's pretty impressive. But it was a great time, like just being around a bunch of new players. They took us around. We were in Dunham, North Carolina. They took us to their AAA, I think it is, their AAA baseball stadium they have in town. We got to explore that, go look in the locker room. It was just, you literally went there and learned new football. And it was a good time being around a bunch of like the best of the best type people. And I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't get to like run around too much.
Well, that's great. And congratulations for that honor. You definitely deserved it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. All right, we're going to switch gears to Mr. Throat Clear guy over here. Right. Yeah, JD Ward, he's a new student assistant, and I had to admit to these guys that I didn't get to do the research. This was kind of last minute almost. I was with Coach Finley or texting Coach Finley. I'm like, can you get me 2 guys for tonight? He's like, yeah, I sure can. Morel and Ward, they're coming out.
Yeah,
he didn't ask you yet because I'm sure he just said, hey, you guys.
No, he just said 7:30. Be ready. I'm like, okay.
All right, cool.
that's what I like about it.
So Coach Ward, he is a student assistant again here for Waldorf. Hails from the faraway land that we know as Mason City, Iowa.
Mason City.
Yeah, so born and raised Mason City?
Yes, sir.
Okay, never anywhere else.
Nope.
Wow. So when you were with the
Yeah, Mohawks.
Mohawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were the Mohawks
They're
then.
still the Mohawks.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were like the
I think they're
They're the River
Mason
Hawks
City,
now.
The
River
barber
Hawks.
shops or something.
Yeah.
They've moved on to
The trombones.
another group of oppressed people, the barber shoppers, the Mason City barber shoppers. They can't defend themselves, and they're upset about it. But there's nothing sweeter than listening to a bunch of men angry singing in harmony.
That's one of my favorite things. It's weird that you just right out of thin air.
Yeah, right there.
So do you
I
sing?
wish they were the barber shoppers.
JD, do you sing?
No, I don't.
So in high school, you weren't like in chorus or anything. It was just football. And
No,
probably-
and I'm thinking in high school. I mean, I do play the guitar. But
Oh,
that's
do
like
you?
Oh,
on my own free time.
You know, they don't do that in barbershop. They almost always a cappella.
yeah. Well, don't they have a harmonica to start?
You got a little pitch pipe or whatever. Terrible example of a pitch pipe, but
No, that
you know what I'm
nailed it.
saying.
You nailed it.
Yeah, we can start a quartet right here if we wanted to. And we are the boys of Bowery. You know that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Well, we'll work on it. We'll come back to that. We'll work on it. Maybe
we-
for a special episode around Valentine's Day.
Can't wait. So JD played offensive line, defensive line. He's a man of stature and size. Number 58, right?
That's right.
A guard and a defensive end.
Well, I actually played left tackle and defensive end.
Well, you know, if you go to the Mason City Mohawk site
Mm-hmm.
and you look up JD, whatever, is it okay that I ask you what JD stands for?
Yeah, that's my it's actually my biological name. It stands for John Douglas Ward. It's my dad's name as well, so I'm a
Okay.
junior technically.
Oh, all right.
Could we maybe call you the second?
Ooh,
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
the second.
Yeah, because then, someday you'll meet
Deuce.
the Deuce. That's kind of the
There we go. You're welcome for that.
Coach Deuce.
Deuce.
All right, everybody listening on the players, the coaches, it's
Yeah.
now Coach Deuce.
Right.
My mom is never going to let that one go.
Okay. Well.
Do you think Mom's going to listen to this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, growing up in
Why do we do
how
it?
did okay, and so, I got to be honest here. I'm gonna throw this out there.
Yeah.
And this isn't something I talked about with Coach Ward whatsoever, but I have never met him before, and
No, me either.
I can't wait for what he's about to say.
so on last Wednesday, we had equipment handout, and I took the day off from my real job and went and worked at Waldorf for a while. And, we checked in about, 125, 130 young men, fitted their helmets, fitted their shoulder pads, made sure they had everything that they needed. And I don't know, at some point you came down in the locker room and you were helping some kid. I think you were putting a screen on their helmet or a visor on their helmet.
Could have been.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, Now, I didn't get a good look at you and see how young you were. I only saw you from the side, and I'm like, there's some kid's dad trying to do he's trying to, make sure Junior has all his stuff.
Right.
Come on, and that's fine. Go ahead, buddy. And that's fine if a dad wants to help, but at the same time, I'm like, God, he's getting in the way. He's just sitting there like, who the hell is this guy? And I already don't like his kid. And I don't know who he was helping.
I'm looking for him.
And then he just keeps hanging around. I'm thinking, what the hell is this guy?
Lifting stuff up, putting it back down.
Yeah. And then after a little while, I heard somebody say Coach Ward. I'm like, okay, note to self. That's not a dad. Then I got to look at his face, and he doesn't look like he's, 20 years old, but at the same time. So that's my story about you.
Well, Coach Chapa seems to be damned that I'm 45 years old. He keeps trying to get me to bring in my birth certificate to prove that I was born in 1975.
Nah, you look like a bearded baby.
I keep telling him I'm 20 years old, man.
Yep.
No, I got to bring in the proof.
75 would make it a little older than that, but that's a good year. It's not my year, but it's a good year. It's right around there.
I was born in the 60s.
Yeah, well.
So if you do the math.
What? Come on.
Come
on.
Yeah, math's not easy.
Hey, Ford was president when I just recently. I just missed Nixon. Just missed that guy.
That's not bad. Let's see. I would have
by a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Nixon's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then he gave it up to Ford.
Yep.
And then of course Carter.
Mm-hmm. And et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the history of America.
Do you guys want to talk about presidents?
Yeah. No.
Okay, I don't either.
No.
Yeah.
Nixon's very inspiring story. Barry.
So what was it like growing up in Mason City?
Yeah, what was that like?
So it was pretty fun. I had a good time in high school.
Yeah.
I lived in the city till I was about 15. Then I moved out to my grandparents' farm. That's where I kind of spent
East,
the rest
west,
of my day.
north, south of
South. It's
South Rockwell direction.
Yeah, so it's probably a mile off the avenue.
Okay.
South.
Good.
Yeah, I ride horses in my free time too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the size of that horse?
Yeah, you always got to have a horse around.
My God.
We'll start a new thing. We'll be like, this year, your job will also be and you're going to ride a horse across the field. And they're like, what is this?
Do the Braveheart.
Yeah.
Men of Waldorf.
Yeah, we're warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he comes
New
up,
mascot.
throws a spear right in the turf, and we're like, what are you doing? Like,
Ruin the turf.
Can it get much
it was
worse?
like so awesome for that one time. And they're like, great, well, how are we going to stitch that up? Oh, man.
Go get some dental floss.
Yeah.
Something.
I wonder if the parents would have the same reaction. Who the heck is that dad out there?
That's
That
right.
could be. And so now I don't feel so bad that Coach Chops did the old, no, you ain't 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel so bad. I literally thought you were somebody's
No,
dad.
that's all right. I get it.
Yeah.
Actually, Coach Paramore, he was like, what are you, in your 30s?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm 20. You're lying.
Well, I hope that evens out for you, though. So, like, when it's just, when you get to your 30s, be like, what are you, like 30? And like, yeah, I'm exactly 30. Thank you. I've been this way for 10 years. And then, but instead of like when you're 30, they're like, gee, I'm ready to retire. Hang it up, huh? You coming in gray already. Steve Martin over here needs to give it up. Jeez, he's all white and everything. Oh, boy.
Well, I got my son-in-law is like 20-something, 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah.
And he is gray through and through.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's...
Distinguished.
Have I introduced you to my son-in-law?
Oh, never met him.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Okay.
He's wonderful. I love you, Joe. Anyway, Mason City growing up, you said it was a lot of fun. Then you lived on the farm and you ride horses. Did you do anything like
What kind of horse
I want to know how you ended up at Waldorf because, other than bringing your son here and working on his equipment last Wednesday.
Did you ride over in a horse?
Yes, I did, sir.
That's right. What kind of horse is it?
Actually, it's a mule.
Ah, even better.
Yeah.
Even better. I love it.
I don't like to tell people I ride a mule because they say a very distinguished word to me.
That is the most... that's iconic. Here comes Coach Deuce on his mule. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
Didn't like Mongo in Blazing Saddles?
He rode an oxen.
Oh, he did ride an oxen.
Yeah. Is oxen plural for ox, or is it just oxen is oxen, like mouse?
I think.
Mine would be Mies. All right, forget it. Moving right along. Hey, I got my degree from Waldorf University.
Yeah, I got one of them. Yeah. All right, Zach. So from Oceanside, California, now he says when he lived in the city, how many people live in the city over in Mason City?
It's like, I want to say about 30,000.
That's about
Right. Is that a town in California, or is
Yeah.
it like more like a hamlet?
Yeah, it'd be like a town. Like my city is pushing 195 or 195,000 people.
And that's not all that big for out there, is it?
Yeah, but do you know everybody?
I don't even know people that live across the street.
See, that's what we got going on.
I went to high school and sat next to a kid at graduation and just found out, like I met him that day and just found out we went 6th grade
Right.
all through high school. And I met him that day, the last day of high school.
And when you do that, as you meet somebody that you went to school with and you don't know them because you went to such a large school.
Yeah.
They expect that. It's painful when it happens around here and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
we went to high school together. I'm like, I don't think we did. And it's like, no, we definitely did. There was only 90 of us in the class. You can't remember me? See, you have 900 probably in your class.
Yeah, my graduating class was about 800.
Yeah.
My high school is like 4,100 something kids.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, I tested out my senior year. I went almost every day of school walking around at lunch, meeting someone I've never seen before. And it was,
Turns out he was at the wrong school the whole time. Like, I've never seen you. Like, yeah.
it was just
You
weird.
don't go here.
My lunch ticket doesn't work here. What the? I don't understand.
All right. Good.
Did you have lunch tickets, guys, back in the day?
How'd you get for lunch? How'd you get lunch?
Like a paper lunch ticket that you had to carry in your little buckaroo leather wallet that you got from...
that was like 2 weeks ago. But so
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I just finessed dollars off people. I'd walk around saying, can I have $1?
yeah,
Build up money and then bought lunch that way.
that's what I expect from Californians. Just out there panhandling for school money, lunch money. Oh boy. Well, all right. Did it work? Must have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you had to pay cash for your meal.
If you wanted something good,
Oh.
the school lunches, the school lunches I would try to avoid as much as I can. We would have like little stands set up around the school that had like ramen or
What?
PB&J's.
They're like food trucks outside the high school?
They were just like little carts that they would roll out. I went the nicer schools. They had really nice stuff. Like one school would have like on Fridays would have different like Chick-fil-A would come. Subway like
What?
yeah. My friends would send me pictures at lunch, and I'm standing there eating an Uncrustable.
It's Chick-fil-A Wednesday.
Yeah, they'd be mad like, oh my god, Chick-fil-A came. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had Uncrustable for the 13th day in a row.
Well, Mason City High School, I happen to know for a fact, has got Godfather's Pizza right across the street, so they probably
do.
roll over there.
I actually went more to Subway than I did
Oh,
Godfather.
Subway across the
Well,
street.
eat fresh. I mean, you were an athlete. You need
Yeah.
to make sure,
True.
doing the Jared thing. Well, I
Right.
mean the food, not the Jared thing.
I forgot about all the other things Jared did.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, Mason City they've added quite a bit to their facilities out there this last year or two.
Yeah.
They've really built on to their sports facilities, and the whole East End is really, I think it's still under construction.
Yeah,
At least-
probably.
Yeah.
Is that the whole if you build it, they will come?
Kind of.
I think so. As I know Mason City is not a bad football team, but like,
They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Like the Decker Cup, where you play Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
Have you won it yet?
Hey, I mean,
It started in 2005.
you know that
It's
Mason
been
City struggles.
so. We really thought it was going to happen last year. We were
Yeah.
up 14-7 going into halftime.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Come back out. They drive, get a touchdown, 14-14. Still feeling comfortable. And then it kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
And sometimes players don't always respond the best, and they kind of get down on their luck, because it's just like, oh, man, we lost again. But
I think you have 100% identified, in my opinion, the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because I spent a lot of time in the recruiting business, and Mason City was one of the schools I was in all the time, and it was my biggest school, and it just seems like the will to kill was not present. There just wasn't a huge there are so many competitive. They're competitive in so many ways, and then football is just really tough for them, and it's been that way for quite a while, a long time.
Right,
I wish it wasn't like that because it's a big, the biggest school around here, and I think you're right. They get down on themselves, and then they don't pick themselves up. They have a resiliency issue, maybe.
I think, yeah, and I mean, it was getting better towards the end of last year. I mean, we were down in Marion. We came back, beat them 21-20.
There you go.
And it's always improving.
Yep.
But like you said, it's just I think it's because we hadn't won for like 10 years straight. We didn't have a winning season. It's just hard to get kids that are coming into high school to keep going out and wanting to play football.
Yeah, put themselves through that to maybe not win. And
right.
That's a challenge for any program. So that's not unusual at all. I'm glad to see that they're pointing north, I guess, and getting things in order. Yeah, it takes a long time.
There's a great group of coaches over there. Most of them were my high school coaches.
Yeah.
And we were towards the end of my high school career. We were starting to improve, and then Coach Lee took over once again. And he does have them pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, he's a positive guy. And the thing is, so for us, we think that Mesa is a big school. It's the biggest school around here, but the reality is it's probably one of the smaller 4As in the state. So you get beat up on a lot. You got to play Ankeny, and oh Lord, So yeah.
But they did the high school. I know there's a new 5A. So like Dowling, Ankeny, Ames, those types of schools That's their own separate, whereas Fort Dodge is about the same size.
There you go.
Yep. We're 4A once again.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, those bigger ones are moving on down the road.
Yeah, because you guys, Mason City was part of CIML.
Because
there was nobody else
for the
around here.
longest time. Yeah.
I mean, you guys would play Clear Lake every, once in a blue moon.
Actually, we started to play Clear Lake every year about 3 years before I got into high school, I think.
Yeah.
And that kind of became a pretty big rivalry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right down the road.
Yeah.
8-10 miles away from each other.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Zach, your high school experience, what was some of the things? Obviously, you were an athlete, multi-sport. What are some of the other things that you did?
In high school, I varsity lettered in 5 sports, football for 3 years, track for 4 years, ice and roller hockey for 4 years, and lacrosse for 4 years. So I pretty much did nothing but play sports. I didn't really hang out with people. Like, I loved high school. I loved all my friends I made. I wasn't the kid, though, that would be able to go to birthday parties or really anything throughout the school year because I'd be constantly in a sport. In the spring, my mom counted in 1 week of sports, I was up to like 85 hours worth of practice or some type of sports going on. I'd wake up at 6 a.m, get to school, and I wouldn't get home till about 11 at night.
That's half the week.
Yeah, it was nuts, but it was something I needed to do because I'm not a big school guy. So it kept me on my grades, which kept me eligible. But I loved high school. Like, if I could go back in time, there's a lot of kids that I met that are like, oh, high school sucked, but I'm like, man, I loved high school. That was one of the best 4 years of my life until I'm weird enough to say until I moved to Iowa. I love it out here. The people I've met out here, obviously the town's a little small compared to where I've been to, but the people I've met out here is just amazing. I've met some great friends that are going to be in my wedding. Hopefully I'm in their wedding. Like,
is that coming soon?
No.
You were saying wedding.
I just meant like some friends that like that they're just going to be in my life forever. The group of people I met out here, and it's just a great time. But high school was a great time for me. I really enjoyed it. Just playing a lot of sports and just meeting people was a good time.
Well, there's 2 observations about the amount of time that you spend, and there are. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of there are 4 sport. You see a lot of 4 sport athletes in the smaller schools around here, but like if you spend that much time, you are so busy that you really you got to stay focused on your grades and everything else like that. We in the school district, we know that it's important that people are involved in things because the kids that are engaged with activities tend to do better in grades as well. And so the other thing that I'd observe about that is that it seems like a lot of times we think generationally speaking, it's like, wow, the kids today don't know how to work. They don't. Back in my day, I'd go and do my chores on the farm, and then I'd go do my football just after school, and then I'd do more chores after that, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, but if you're spending 85 hours a week, between school and your variety of sports, because even though you're maybe in a season, you're still probably working on another sport that you're also involved with.
Yeah.
That is a job. And we kind of looked at it like that with our older boys and all our kids. It's like, yeah, it's good to learn how to work and work for somebody and earn a wage. And that's important. And we try to teach them that too. But when you're working like that, you're definitely not, shirking any responsibility.
Yeah, that's what a lot of my friends' parents would be like, because their kids would have more free time, and they get on my mom saying, "Oh, Zach doesn't work in high school, and my kid's doing all this," and she's like, "He's playing 4 sports. He has 3 practices tomorrow. Tell me when he's supposed to work."
Well, exactly. Yeah. And then, you got a scholarship, right?
Yeah,
so you did work for that.
Yeah, like a lot of coaches would come at me, they're like, "You should focus on one sport. You're never going to make it anywhere if you keep playing all these sports." And I'm one of those people, like, if you tell me, like, I can't do something with a sport, I'm going to prove people wrong.
Right.
Like, so many people told me I'd never make it to a college because I'm playing too many sports.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could get a scholarship out of school and then go there and play 3 sports there.
Yeah.
Just to prove to people, like,
yes,
I can do it. Like, it
And
pushes me to do things harder.
There's a program out there for not every program is on a winning streak like the Warriors, and not every program even at Waldorf is necessarily as strong as as football and necessarily. But there's a program for every athlete somewhere. If you want to graduate, you graduate high school and you want to play somewhere, then you get your nose out there and you'll find a place. You might there's D3 schools. There's programs out there. D1, D2, the NAIA, they're all JUCO, they're all out there, and you can. And people, I always said that it doesn't mean, like, if you really want to play, you can go play. But then there's usually what happens is people are like, well, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to go play for, the Hawkeyes, and it's like, I got to play for the Hawkeyes. Like, you're not, so like they think it's D1, and they also think the coaches are coming to their games on Friday night to watch them play football on Friday night, and it's like. Yeah, Kirk Ferentz is getting ready for a game tomorrow. Like, he's not at your game, weirdo, on a Friday night.
Yeah, he's in New Jersey.
Yeah. Although I did see Kirk Ferentz one Friday night at City High when his kid was playing there, but that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
And it was also a home game the next day, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Weird. So you guys, now, JD, how did you get to Waldorf? I mean, besides,
This is kind of a funny story.
He rode his donkey.
So I worked in the hospital for the past year as a scribe. I kind of just take notes for doctors, and Coach Finley's wife actually works in the ER.
Okay.
Yes, she does.
So,
I like the fact that you're a scribe.
Yeah.
And that you have a beard. I mean, come on, man. We're halfway there. We'll get you in the temple, and then we'll get you. Take this down.
Would it make it better if I wore sandals?
Yeah, for sure. On a donkey with a big stone tablet. Come on. New job.
Yeah, team scribe. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but anyway, so my original plan was after I went to NIAC for 2 years. And my original plan was actually to go to UNI, possibly, help student assist down there. But I don't know. I heard that Callie worked in the ER. And I was like, Mom, because my mom also works in the ER.
Okay.
Like, Mom, can you point her out so, I could get, help talking to Coach Finley, because I had known that he was the head coach, and she said yes, and it's kind of how I got here.
All right. That's awesome.
So Coach Finley got you a meeting with Coach Finley.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
We know who's in charge.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah, and if you get a chance, go back and listen to Callie and Will's podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was actually quite touching.
Yeah.
We tried to get him to cry a little bit.
Didn't work.
But we did, and Troy and I scored some righteous T-shirts out of that.
We did.
Yeah.
Still owe some folks some pictures of that. They want to see I don't know if they want to see it, but
well, they probably don't. But
yeah.
we'll still
do it. We said we would.
We'll do it. So now, I got a question for Zach more than anything, because you've got a 1 year switch over, not even a full year, to go from player in the locker room to coach up in the offices. What are some of the distinct differences in the two, good or bad?
I I wouldn't necessarily say there's anything bad about the switch over. It's just kind of weird having to have my friends
There you go.
and players that I literally just played with 10 months ago, kind of where I have to tell them what to do, that they kind of already know because they've been in the program same as I have, and it's like they know kind of what's going on. It's weird having them call me coach,
Right.
Coach Zach, Coach Morel. That kind of throws me off a little bit, but my favorite thing is like talking to the coaches now when it's not a player to coach talk.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the actual personalities of a lot of the coaches, it brightens my day. It's like I'm so used to seeing them as a coach, and like as a player, I would be a little nervous talking to a coach because it's like they have every right to yell at me for whatever it is,
Right.
and now I can talk to them and like question some of the things they might say when it comes to coverage. Like I know me and Chapa, after him and Finley came out to the that Senior Bowl thing, and I remember me and Chapa had a conversation after the game, and we were just talking about like just from my perspective as a player for their defense, and like him coming back at me, and it was like we were talking as if it was just like two people talking, not a player to coach standpoint.
Right.
And it was it's cool to learn and see the behind the scenes stuff that coaches have to do. Like I knew coaches had a lot of things to do, but man, we started Wednesday a week ago, and man,
Late nights.
people need to understand coaches put in hours and hours and hours of preparation just for a practice.
Right.
Like we're just getting ready to get into a scrimmage. We're not even getting ready for game week. Game week's going to be nuts now that I see how just what they have to do just to get ready for a practice and like make sure we have all the right equipment, make sure our clothes are clean, make sure the practice plan's ready, make sure the right people are in the right positions. We're starting to get into special teams now, like making sure all those players, we have the right players in the right spots. Like I have a way bigger appreciation for coaches now than like I've ever had in my life.
Would you say that I wondered about that you know, you're a player last season and now you're coaching, and and like you said, your friends, you know, they play, hey, I know how this works. So are you, I mean, you're an extra set of eyes. Do you see it like as I'm an extra set of eyes? I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. But I'm going to look at what I see you doing that you can't maybe see. And I'll just say, hey, you know, you're stepping off on the wrong foot that or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
They're not seeing it, and then you're not coming at them with like a, you know, with like, here's how you do it. You're just saying, hey,
exactly.
I noticed you know, you did it differently that time.
Yeah, exactly. So like coming at them like for like my receiver group, being able to see the field now that I can like see the field and not focus on what I'm doing as a receiver. Right. I feel like it's a lot easier for me to learn the plays now. It took me forever to understand plays. Like I would have to see it written down, then go on the field, walk through. Now I can like see the whole field and like seeing players and like seeing what I did now and seeing why a coach told me what to do and being able to see the whole field and understand the offense. It's like, it's just a whole different change. And when I have to like tell players what to do now, I try to let them know like I did the same thing when I was playing last season. Like I understand what you're thinking.
Right.
And this is the reason why coach or me wants you to run it this way or wants you to do this certain thing, because what you're doing, you're looking at more as what is my route, what is my defender doing, not as what is the two other guys running either behind me, in front of me, next to me, what are they doing, what's their defender doing. Like everything is set up for a reason. And I never, as a player, like I understood it, but I never saw it from a whole view of the whole field. I just saw it from my route.
And now you've got a different O coordinator, so you probably see some interesting things there anyway.
Yes. Coach P brought in a very good offense. I really enjoy seeing how he sees the game from an offensive standpoint and where he wants to set things up. Like seeing it the way he does it now, like when we got here, like learning it now is like it. I don't know. To me, I enjoy it because it's like, all right, I can see exactly what he wants. I can see where he's coming from, and it's just like I just enjoy the way him and Coach Ani, the O-line coach, they both like sitting in their meetings every once in a while, like seeing how they talk back and forth and how they want something. It's like I'm behind the scenes. I get to see all the thought process to what you guys get to see for the final project, and it's very like it's impressive seeing. They're both very, very smart men, and the way they see the field and see the game is it's a very cool thing. I don't say anything in the meetings. I just sit there and smile and look at them like, all right, cool.
Best way to do it.
Yeah, it's
Fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to retain everything I can because obviously I want to go into coaching when I get older. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But
good for you.
It's like, man, it's cool watching two guys that really understand the game just talk football. Like it's for me last year, it's just two players talking about, oh, this is how you play Madden. That's how they know football. Like,
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
so like
crazy.
seeing like actual coaches that are their career and their life is on the line, like having to talk. Like it's awesome to see that.
So, Coach Deuce, as far as
sticks.
it's part of my lexicon.
Nice.
I got this.
I love it.
Yeah. So, Coach Deuce, helping the Mohawk football team, or whatever they're going to call it now, but the Mohawk football team, like you did, and then transitioning over, seeing what's going on in an NAIA college and a small college experience. The best small college football experience in America.
Yeah.
What's some of the noted changes that you see, and some of the things that you're enjoying more about the college game?
So I coached D-line at Mason City, and we ran a 3-4 as well, and it's a very, very, I would say, similar defense. So coming in, it was a lot easier adjustment than trying to go from a 3-4 to like a 4-2-5 or maybe a 3-3 stack. And I would say probably the biggest difference is I don't have to get on like players' rear ends about hustling. I mean, they do a pretty good job sometimes here and there, but high school kids don't necessarily know that when you do a drill, you got to do it perfect. I mean, it really is those little things that add up to game day and why certain teams win and why certain teams don't necessarily win.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's probably the biggest difference. And obviously the game speed is a lot faster and quicker, and we're not spending as much time going over plays because players have a higher football IQ when you're in college.
And they're expected. That's part of their job. That's part of what's paying for their education is, you know this playbook. We're not going to sit here and go, all right, class, turn to page 3.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. I like that.
Yeah. So we're going to go off the wall a little bit here.
Oh.
All right.
He's not
I don't
ready.
know what's happening.
I don't know.
I know, because I'm usually Mr. Structure, but we do ask strange questions sometimes, a little bit of something. So we've talked about old movies and stuff like that on here. Zach, what's your favorite? The oldest movie that you would say would be your favorite?
Ooh.
Old movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Something from the 90s.
I was about to say our old and your old is
Yeah.
gonna be a little different.
What do you mean?
From the 90s.
No, whatever. I mean, like a movie, it's like, every time that I see that, I got to stop and watch a half hour of it.
Yeah. What do you got?
Dang, I don't even.
Deuce, what about you?
Old movie.
I do love movies.
Yeah.
I got to go through like my safe of what I really enjoy to watch.
What's your favorite genre? Let's go with that.
My favorite genre? I like. That's hard to say, man. I would say
Comedy
probably
and horror.
adventure.
You're a comedy and horror guy?
Yeah,
are you?
I love horror movies and comedy movies. Like, who doesn't like comedy movies?
I don't like horror movies.
What?
Was it that?
Horror.
Or like
So-
scary,
Horror. Not
Insidious,
Like-
all that.
You like? So you just don't like horror? You like scary movies?
nah, not really. My wife and I are very similar in that regard for sure. Like we're just, that's scary. We're not gonna watch a scary movie.
But what's scary?
Grease, there it is.
Grease?
My mom used to
Hey.
make me watch Grease
That's
and
timely.
Purple Rain.
Didn't Olivia
all the time.
Newton-John just pass away?
Yeah,
she
she
did.
passed away yesterday.
Sorry, that was
Well,
random.
yesterday on the day.
Is that what made you think of
recorded.
it?
I don't even know. It just popped in my head.
Just
Grease.
because mom said, hey, we're watching this again.
Yeah, every time she would take me to work, we'd either watch Grease, Purple Rain, or the Spice Girls movie.
Oh, no, that you had me in the first two, but
Well,
the Spice
hey,
Girls.
I was
come on,
I was
Mom.
6.
You know who loves
She
the
just
Spice
threw a movie
Girls?
on.
Carl Woolridge loves the Spice Girls. Carl Woolridge, the general manager of KIOW Radio, where Zarin Eggestal works now.
You know, I should be shocked, but
No,
that makes some
he loves
sense.
the Spice Girls. I'm diming him out. He loves them.
All right, so we got some Grease, we got some Purple Rain, and that other movie.
Purple Rain, yeah.
All right, Deuce, what do you got?
So I love Tombstone and Dances with Wolves. I love those movies.
Yes,
Those are one of my favorites. But I mean, I love like Star Wars, Batman, but I would probably say, I'd probably say the most out of those, I'd probably watch Dances with Wolves the most.
Really? Well, you got patience then.
Yeah.
So a little something.
Most of the time.
Tatunka. Tatunka.
Yeah. So my wife, I mean, and it's one of my favorite movies
I
as
wish
well.
that bank hadn't changed its name, because that was my favorite part of pulling up to the drive-thru.
State Bank.
Putting in Tatunka. And I'm like, okay, it's just TSB.
Yeah. But for years, my wife and I was like, hey, what movie you want to watch? She's like, I don't know. You want to watch Dances with Wolves? She's like, oh, no. Well, like a few weeks ago, she's like, well, I'm going to be working anyway. My wife works all the time. But so she had her computer, and she actually sat through all 3 hours of Dances with Wolves, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't even know what that
really
movie
teaches
is.
you how to survive on the prairie.
Kevin Costner.
Look for tan lines for one thing, because that will tell you whether or not they're actually a Lakota lady or not.
And she was not.
She was.
Yeah, if you don't have the patience, I wouldn't watch that movie.
It's like,
I mean, if it's a good movie, I'll watch it.
it is a good movie.
It is.
Zach, have you seen The Godfather?
It's like 3 hours long, though.
But,
you know.
well, man, The Godfather is long, too.
Well, yeah, and The Godfather that's one of those movies that I don't know anybody that doesn't like that movie. And Troy, don't look at me.
No, I do. I like the God. Who doesn't like the Godfather?
Everybody likes
I feel like Godfather 2 is better than.
I agree with that
one.
statement.
You know,
I agree with that
because I read the book and I'm like, well, that's kind of what the book is like. Is Godfather 2 is actually like I don't know what they were doing with Godfather 1.
Yep. But if I have to go back to some of my old faithfuls, I'm a National Lampoon's guy. The
Sure.
Cat,
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
The Christmas one is the best.
Animal House.
Oh, there you go. Every Christmas we got to watch that.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
We watch
Oh,
it.
yeah.
We watch it at Thanksgiving every year. The National. Yeah.
Start watching it.
They're great movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should have.
I forgot about those. Okay,
we need to have
never mind.
a
I
team
changed my
movie
answer.
night. Yeah.
European Vacation was probably my first movie that I watched with my parents, and there was a breast scene.
Oh boy.
And it was awesome because they didn't know it was coming, and I didn't know it was either. And I was like, I think I need to go to Germany. So we did.
Well, nowadays you can watch like the 6 o'clock news and see the same.
I
thing.
know, but back then it was special.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've talked about that before. In not when it's being broadcast all over the globe.
Well, check out European Vacation and Las Vegas Vacation.
I'm a big
Where's the damn bait?
the first vacation, when they go to Wally World. I love
Yeah.
that.
Oh, John Candy riding around on the roller coaster at the end. That's amazing.
Sorry,
Yeah,
folks.
for sure.
Park's closed. Moose out front should have
I
told
saw a
you.
funny meme where there was like somebody had one of those racks on the back of their vehicle, and they had something wrapped up in the back, but they put a sign on it that said, "This isn't grandma or whatever her aunt whatever."
And so and so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I gotta go. I gotta go back and change my answer. I forgot about this movie. I love Spaceballs.
Oh
yes.
That
Yeah,
is
it's a
one of
good
my
movie.
favorite movies.
Surrounded by
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
can't say it. I love that movie too. That movie's got a Winnebago in it.
I know.
That movie, when it came out with Pucker Brush, but I think it was Frontier Days then, they had a Winnebago with like, I don't know, I don't think it was the one, but they had,
No, they brought the foam wings in and
Yeah.
stuff on the
That's
side of
hilarious.
a Brave or a
Yeah.
Chieftain or something like
it was awesome. We love that
well,
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Blazing Saddles, all those Mel Brooks movies are good.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen History of the World Part 1?
Mel Brooks.
I don't
Hard
think
to
I have.
find. But now it is on Amazon because I was looking for it for quite a while, and they finally added it.
She's out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
That's old,
and
too.
yeah, and Coach Deuce, I don't have to ask this because it's probably going to be a little easier. Deuce.
I'm never.
Deuce.
That's
dude.
staying.
Yeah, I know it is. I know. Once Chop hears this, I'm screwed.
It's he probably already heard it.
I guarantee you.
Well, I'm going to send him a
Man.
text as soon as I get,
Oh, yeah.
get in my truck and leave the underground bunker. So, okay, Zach, you go back home, and I don't know how many opportunities you get, and that's not the point of this question, but you go back home, and Mom says, "What do you want to eat?"
Oh, that's probably the toughest question I get. It's always we'll see, but it ends up being some type of Mexican food every time somewhere.
So you guys go out, or does she prepare that herself?
No, that's the funny thing. That's like a joke in our family. Like my mom tries to say she can cook food, and she really can't. She's a very good cook when it comes to Thanksgiving. And she tries to like hang her hat on that. She's like, I'm like, Mom, that's once a year. I was
Stuck in the oven.
yeah.
You waited 8 hours.
She made a lasagna one time and it turned into a soup. So it just puts it out there how it is. But when I go home, it's some type of Mexican normally to start it off. And then In-N-Out is probably one of the top 2 things that come to mind.
Stuff you can't get here.
Oh, definitely. I spend a lot of money on food that I don't have here the first about 2 weeks I'm home.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and then the last week I'm home, I spend a lot of money again trying to make sure it's like...
Yeah, you got to get OD.
Do you do that too? I remember some vacillating, like home, JD, or do I just go with the Deuce?
The Deuce.
So like you just like, look, when I go home, I spend a lot of money on stuff I can't get here in Forest City.
No,
Taco Tico.
Go to Poncheros. I go to Taco Tico.
McDonald's.
Only 2 places with Taco Tico. Fort Dodge is the other place. They should call it the Taco Tico Bowl. Is what it should be between Fort Dodge.
That would be perfect.
And
That
Mason
would be
City.
Actually very
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Have you ever had Taco Tico?
Never even heard of it, but it sounds good.
Oh, well, you don't really buy the food. You just rent it, but it is delicious.
It's a gastric anomaly.
I love it.
If you will.
No, actually, when I go home, I make sure my mom, I love meatloaf.
Okay.
I love the meatloaf.
I told
The kid loves meatloaf. He watches old movies. He rides a donkey and plays the guitar.
I thought he rode a mule.
He's an old head.
Oh, I thought it was donkey.
It's a mule.
Told you.
Oh, it's a mule now?
It is a mule.
No,
I
it's been a
said-
mule the whole
It's been
time.
a mule,
It's been
yeah.
a mule. Yeah.
Well, I heard donkey.
Thanks,
I
Zach.
might have to check the headphones. It's been a mule.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been.
What is it?
That beep at the beginning, really, I think it's messing with his hearing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a mule's virile, but a donkey is not.
Right.
Is that
Correct.
No, donkeys are. A mule is if
A mule is not.
a donkey and a horse have offspring, and
Yep.
it's a mule.
But-
and it is not able to produce offspring as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Bet you didn't know that.
Kind of sad. I
didn't know we were
knew
gonna
it was
do
something
biology.
like that. Hey, listen, people learn a lot of stuff here on this.
You learn
podcast.
something new
It's
every day.
Educational. That's how we keep our 501c3 status.
Well, and yeah, like we had to teach Troy that Tuan Collymore is Bayesian.
Yeah, that was a lesson.
Oh, I got a lot of looks. Okay,
Tuan,
he's Bayesian.
is he really?
Yeah. No way. Yeah, he is. He's from Barbados. He's first generation here in the United States. Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
Wow.
When you hear that, you probably thought he wears beige pants and clothes a lot, and it turns out that's like where he's from.
That's not what went through my head, but yeah,
Oh.
I can. I can.
That's what I thought it meant. I was like Bayesian. He's just like a guy who wears a lot of beige.
I don't see Tuan wearing a lot of beige.
No,
But he could.
yeah, he'd rock it. All right. Well, speaking of rocking things, you did mention something about a scrimmage coming up, and when this airs on Friday, we'll have the very next day we have a scrimmage at 2 p.m.
That's
Yes.
true. We're Iowa
So
Central.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and we seem to be coming up against
Speaking
Iowa
of Fort Dodge.
Yeah, that's right, the Dirty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Iowa Central, quality program down there. The Tritons got going on, and they come up here and they ball. I mean, they got some great athletes. We've got some of their great athletes here. DQ McCobb.
Yeah.
Yes.
DQ McCobb, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going to use his name this year, Troy.
Yeah, DQ. Yeah, that's what he wants to be called.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what I'll call him finally.
No, you can leave
Here.
it. You can leave it.
It is.
So who do you want mad at you?
Huh?
Who do you want mad at you, Coach Morel or DQ?
I don't want anybody mad at me.
Well, I know, but if you had to choose.
If I had to choose, I'd choose my brother-in-law, Reed Burkholder. He can be as mad at me as he wants. He's always texting me while I'm in the box and telling me things that I can work into the.
Wants you to
announcements.
throw in a
Oh,
word.
man.
Oh, yeah.
Been there.
Yeah. And sometimes I do, depending on the appropriateness.
Appropriate.
Of the word. If you hear some weird things like Conestoga, good Lord. Just like,
I feel like that was a word that you just slipped in.
yeah, well, it is because what they're doing is they're drinking over in the area that that we love to tailgate in, and they're having a good time. And they're like, "Listen, I can get my brother-in-law to say just about anything while he's on the PA. What is it going to be?"
It's just
And then they'll
typing in.
take a bunch of things, and I'll ignore most of them, and occasionally I'll giggle and I'll say, "Yeah, okay." Old Conestoga wagon full of defenders on that tackle. All right, let's keep on. People don't know what's going on.
No, I actually, and this wasn't something that I was prompted to do, but I used to call state tournament games for different radio stations in here. I did the color and color commentary and expert analysis by Andy Buffington.
And
I
remember that.
Yeah, and so there was one it was a St. Ansgar game. St. Ansgar kicks the ball off, and the kid kicked the top of the ball and then the side of it, and it went spinning down the field about 15 yards, and I absolutely used the word forespin.
That's nice.
On the radio.
Yeah.
Forespin.
Okay.
And I was working with Jason Slater.
Okay, the Slater Nation.
Yeah, the Nation, and he just paused and looked at me and said, forespin? I said, yes, forward spin on the ball. And he goes,
That's not what a lot of people heard.
Exactly right. So, yeah, that was kind of one of those. All right, I wish I had I wish we could edit this live broadcast.
That button. Yeah. Right. That's right. Good Lord. That's funny.
So, Coach Morel, who are you hearing the guys excited for? Obviously, we got Briarcliff on the radar. The scrimmage is great, but is there anything that you're really hearing out there? And I know as a former player that you probably have your own, but is there any energy out there for any team?
For the season, Fair State is a big, D2 undefeated defending national champs, like their homecoming.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people we really play in front of, but multiply it by like 7. That's who we're going to be going at. Like everyone's dream was to go play in a big game.
Yep.
Kid from Texas, this is probably a normal game to them, but a lot of us, a big dream of us was to go play D1 somewhere, and now we're playing at a big school like this. Like, that's a game where everyone's excited to play for, but obviously a lot of us want our revenge on Valley City these last 2 years.
Yeah.
3 out of our last 4 games came down to a touchdown.
Yep.
I think that one game that wasn't, I think we lost by 10 or something. Like, it was still a close game. Like, obviously we want to get our revenge back on them, and Dickinson to us is always the number one game. They're a top dog of the conference the last 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they won it the last 9. And I don't know if I played it for you guys, but the NAIA football, I follow them on Twitter and such, and they had a podcast. So I thought, they're breaking down the North Star. And if you get a chance, go back and listen. And these guys do a pretty decent job. But the one thing that I'll tell you is that they looked at stats, because they were talking about how Waldorf is, they lost most of their defense, and their offense was really the only bright spot that they're going to bring back. And that's absolutely true for this year. But we got a new OC, we got a new offense. And we're bringing in a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, we're bringing in some new faces. And, we'll meet those folks throughout the season here on the podcast and everywhere else, and at the games, make sure that we get there. So, looking forward to this season. It's right around the corner.
It really is.
We're
Yeah, well, tomorrow is
scrimmage,
which is amazing. In 2 weeks, 2 weeks on, it's the first game, Briarcliff, and take a look at the rest of the schedule. But you're right. It's here. It seems like it's.
It seems really far, but it's very
classes
close.
Start
Tomorrow.
Well, Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because this airs on Friday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
So classes have started.
Yeah,
Wednesday
already.
The 10th. Yep. Wednesday the 10th.
It's hard to do these pre-recorded shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got to do math and such. That's tough. But yeah, it's some pretty exciting stuff, because we got a homestand. The first 3 dates in September.
Yeah.
We get St. Ambrose for community night. That's going to be just absolutely fantastic.
A good game too.
Yep, for sure. I watched the game last year, because when we were down there, and man, they had like an old VCR, like a video camera or something like that, with a microphone on it, and all I could listen to was the dude in front of there, complaining about the officials and everything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what that guy's name is, but I hope he's listening to this podcast, and he was just awful. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Yeah. So then we follow up with Simpson at home for, I think that's faculty and staff appreciation. And then I'm really excited to have Dakota here, because we're going to bring out something for our military first responder appreciation day. And so that's going to be pretty cool. And then obviously go to Ferris, and then I think presentation. Oh, I didn't know they were in our conference anymore. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I knew they were there. But yeah,
Go from fair state to presentation.
Yeah.
It's like
feast and famine.
oh Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, all right, Coach Deuce, why don't you tell me a little bit about your family? What do you got waiting for you over in Mason City? Married, few kids?
No, I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend. And actually, to go back on my point of how people think I'm older, I always get, is that your daughter?
Nice.
Oh boy.
No,
That's not.
it's my girlfriend, but thanks.
Yeah.
And
Thank
then you
you.
got, but don't you have to start
Yeah,
off
yeah.
going, okay, I'm 20,
Yeah.
and this is
man.
my girlfriend, rather than
right.
this
And
is my
and the
girlfriend.
best part, she's older than me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's always like, she's older than you? Nah.
Yeah.
So
she
the-
is.
So do the cops like show up at there's
That's-
some
oh my
45-year-old guy with a
fantastic.
20-year-old girlfriend over
Hey,
here?
don't judge.
No, I'm not.
That's awesome.
All right, so your girlfriend.
Yeah.
What else you got in Mason City?
My parents,
Yeah.
John and Ann, and then I got a brother and a sister. They're both older. They're twins.
All right.
My sister lives in Clear Lake with her husband, and she's got a kid. He's going to turn 2 in September.
Oh, so you're an
Uncle.
uncle.
Yeah.
Nothing
And she's
better.
pregnant with another baby boy, and he'll be born also in September.
Oh, wow. Coming up quick.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it'd be weird if it was next September. That'd be like the longest baby ever. Yeah. Coming up quick.
And then I have a brother who I'm staying with, actually, over in
Okay.
Garner, Clemmy area. So it's a little bit easier of a drive than traveling from Mason City every day.
Slightly. Yeah. What is that? 12 miles instead of 25.
Well, it's like 14 miles to Garner, and then Clemmy's another 6-7 after that.
Oh, okay.
But
But it is closer.
It's like a straight shot rather than just all these
Yeah.
back highways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the B20.
Yeah.
That's a tough route.
Well,
Yeah. And then I got 2 grandparents. Actually, all my family, like my immediate family, is in Mason City, and then
Yeah.
and after that, they're all over the country.
And so you lived with Grandma and Grandpa, or at least on the
So-
farm with.
It's kind of set up funky. So my great grandma lived in a. You're gonna love this. She
Okay.
lived in a trailer home
nice.
on my grandparents' property.
Okay.
And then my grandma and grandpa have a prefab.
Okay.
And so when my great grandma passed away, we moved into the trailer home.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 houses on the property.
Yeah.
So I did kind of live like across the street.
Yeah.
From my
That's, I
grandparents.
love that. That's obviously very
What a great way
similar
to grow up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what a great way to grow up.
Yeah.
Close to grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Even when I lived in Mason City, I was out there all day during the summer, every day, as much as I could.
Yeah. Well, my in-laws are very close to us. They're just in the backyard, and
Oh, yeah, I'm
my
sure.
parents are across the road. So, I mean, it's like everybody loves Raymond, and they just walk in and come on in whenever they want.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Zach, tell us about your family.
So my mom's from actually Illinois, right, probably an hour and a half east of Iowa 80. So she's from a small town. So a lot of my family lives there in Peru, Illinois.
Okay.
Me, my mom, my brother, and my grandma are all in Oceanside. So, that's kind of been like where we've been.
Yeah.
So, it's tough being away, but like going home to them is the greatest because my mom's my best friend.
She's awesome.
A lot of people out here. It was kind of weird actually. My first semester here, after the football games, like instead of people saying, "Oh, like you're Zach's mom," like people were coming with me like, "Oh, you're Rhonda's kid," and like teachers were saying that, and I'm like, shouldn't it be flipped? Like, because I go here and they knew my mom more than they knew me, so it kind of threw me off. But then I went to the tailgates after and realized my mom was the life of the party walking around that place.
Party. Also, you've been walking around the wrong campus again.
Yeah, so
like always.
apparently
She knows
was walking
everybody.
around Nyack. I didn't know it.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know you. I'm like, you don't go here.
Yeah,
Is
it
this
was
the same guy from Oceanside.
Pretty
but
much.
Now goes to Nyack.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had to drive 45 minutes to practice when I could have just went to school
Right,
here.
yeah.
But so my mom, I love that lady. She's just the greatest person I've ever been around ever. And so my brother's the same way. He's kind of shy, but you got to push him out there. So he came out for senior night and he's not a kid that likes the cold. That's one person where like my mom would try to bring him back to her hometown in the winter, and he'd bundle up, get inside, take everything off. We go to leave. I'm like, where's your glove? He's like, well, I don't know. And he's trying to walk around with his hand under his, trying to warm himself up. He's definitely like a Cali kid that cannot ever leave California. So he did like it out here, though. He wants to come out for a game, so hopefully he comes out, and a lot of you people will end up meeting him.
Yeah.
A lot of my family is Midwest people, and that's kind of why I wanted to come out here to go to college, because lived in California, grew up on the West Coast, lived in Boston for a year playing hockey, and I was like, the next place I want to go is where family's at. So it's kind of cool getting a scholarship to come out to the Midwest, where I got an aunt that lives 2 hours north, cousin that lives in Milwaukee. The rest of my family is in Illinois, so a lot of them got to make it out a few of my games. So it was pretty fun to have family see me play when they've only watched me once, my senior night of high school, my last game ever.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty cool.
It's wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Family's everything. And that's one of the things we preach here at Waldorf, is that, we are family.
Yeah.
The coaching staff, the players, the community, you guys are all part of this, and we couldn't be more excited than to spend some time with you guys and be able to kind of get to know who you are a little bit and learn your real names, Deuce.
Or make new ones. Yeah.
I cannot wait
to
get back into the locker room.
Oh man.
I'm just going to get to the players, and oof.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
I'm screwed.
Well, you might as well embrace it. There's that's cool.
It could be worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be way
Could be
worse.
much worse.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, you could be Coach Mule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, still, I like Deuce.
That sounds like a call sign.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it means two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yes, it means two.
peace, victory, whatever. I don't know, man. Jeez,
For sure.
I'm just a bureaucrat. All right, is there anything that either you guys want to ask us, or something that you wish that we would have asked you?
Yeah, because this is about over.
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I enjoyed this. I was kind of nervous.
So,
Oh yeah, nothing to worry about.
Uh-oh.
who started the idea for a podcast?
Troy.
Was it?
Yep,
Right
all
off
your
the bat.
idea.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
I'm surprised you gave that up right away.
No, absolutely, because give credit, because I'll tell you what, that was kind of one of those, hey, you know what we could do is that we could do, and you were just brainstorming this night at the Paddlers, our first, when we were
that's true.
inducted as executive board members of the GridIron Club, and we'd like you to donate to the GridIron Club. Send your check, money order, cash to P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa 50436. But
You got it.
no, so yeah, we were sitting there, and Troy's like, well, what we could do. And Troy's always an idea guy. He's a visionary. He's a leader. And he's one of the guys that I aspire to be someday.
Okay.
It's getting really deep.
Yeah. Well, I do think that the podcast thing is fun, and it is fun to do that with Andy. My brother-in-law Burkholder, also a GridIron member, said, "Hey, if you ever do a podcast, you should do one with Andy Buffington, because apparently you guys had a conversation at Paddlers one night as well, and I wasn't there for that.
No.
But I could say, I could definitely do that. I have a conversation with Andy every week, and it's been fun. So hopefully it works out that it's something that our fans, not our fans, but Waldorf University football fans, parents, players, that they can enjoy, go back to, learn things about each other. I know sometimes it's not, you want to listen, definitely want to listen to your own kid, but it is great to listen to the insights from the other kids and the coaches on the team. It does give you a little bit, I think if you're far away, like, mom and dad are far away, it kind of gives you a little glimpse of life and the voices of the people that are in the locker room with your son. And I feel hopefully that the program will continue to grow, and that it does what it's really meant to do, which is to generate awareness and income for the GridIron Club, so that we can continue to support Waldorf University football.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great idea. I saw you guys starting it last semester when you guys started it, and being on it now, this is a fun time. You get people to come out of the shell and give their point of view on the football team and stuff like that. This is a good time. I really enjoyed coming here.
I'm surprised that a little bit honest that it's been we've been able to talk about Waldorf University football for 16 weeks. And we haven't even played a game.
We haven't even touched the surface either.
So I'm looking forward to the X's and the O's a little bit. We're not highly technical, obviously, out here. We're very interested in the people, and that is what we bring to the table. I heard too that so we're not doing the show at Paddlers then anymore. What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what's happened with that. I had asked Coach Choppy yesterday, and he said I don't know what the status of that is. But remains to be seen. We will be doing a coach's show. I don't know what the location is. We hope it's Paddler's Tap because we love Paddler's Tap. But at the same time, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. For sure, that was
going to happen.
It was a different venue and a different opportunity. So, like, we do different things. Of the folks that are listening, they don't know this. There's a live show that's broadcast. So it's on Facebook too, right? They do Facebook Live as well.
They do,
and that was through KIOW and all of that stuff. So our local station. Hopefully, we get that all squared away and see what happens, because we'll continue driving the podcast train for as long as we can.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes by the time this bad boy's over. I retire in about 6 years, and we could do this every day.
Every day.
Just sit out here and talk to each other,
right?
And we can complain about stuff. Now, one of the things I want to close on one really cool story, and this kind of goes along with what Troy continues to tell our players and our listeners about this place. Young man from Oklahoma, freshman. On check-in day, his mom and his dad, and I don't know if it was like his girlfriend or something. There was a young lady there with him, and of course, mom was taking pictures. Let's go take a picture at your locker. Let's go take a picture with your helmet on, and it was very exciting for mom and dad.
Right.
And I was sore and tired. I think Coach Deuce can attest.
Yeah.
Because it did get tiring.
Yeah.
Thinking I was some dad,
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Good job, Dad.
Yeah.
I'll take your picture. Okay.
So we were talking. I was talking to this family, and I just said, "So is this your first one off to college?" And she said, "No, this is my only." And I said, "Wow." I said, "Well, is it you having a good day?" And of course, mom had some emotion, as any parent would, when you drop that baby off for the first time. But then I said, "Hey," and then this is where I started, doing my best Troy Thompson. I said, "You need to understand that he's ours now, and not just our player. He's part of our family. And while he's here, I can tell you that we're going to do everything we can to take the absolute best care of him while he's here, as well as we want to turn him into that young man that you would be proud of, that you would raise, and that you would expect him to be." I said, "So that is our role." And I don't know if she felt better.
Yeah.
I felt a little better, but again, I always want to give credit for that to you. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think it probably did make her feel better, and obviously now we have to deliver. So hopefully that kid turns out to be a good kid and don't have much work to do, but
he's pretty excited. He seems like a pretty good kid. So
that's awesome.
And we'll have him on the podcast, and we can start naming names.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like that's going to be about our time for this episode of the Waldorf GridIron Podcast. I want to thank Coach Zach Morel and whatever his new name is.
It's the Deuce.
It's the Deuce. Yeah, J.D. Ward, new student coach for Waldorf University. Remember, you see him around town, say, "Sup, Deuce." So, and he's the 20-year-old that looks like he's 45.
So the bearded baby.
I got a little bit of gray hair in my mustache
you look like
already.
30.
You're getting there. Yeah. You're getting there. So, want to thank everybody for taking some time and listening to the Waldorf GridIron Podcast. For Troy Thompson and Andy Buffin, I want to thank you. And as always and forever, go Warriors.
Go Warriors.
You can join the Waldorf GridIron Club today by sending a check to the Waldorf GridIron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
Or message us by visiting and like our Facebook page, Waldorf GridIron Club.
or email us at waldorfgridironclub@gmail.com.
Or it's as easy as clicking on the Support the Show link on your phone. Become a patron of the Gridiron Club by choosing to support the program monthly. $100 is the black membership at $9 a month.
The $250 level is purple at $25 a month.
$500 is the Warrior membership at $45 a month.
The all-conference level is $750 or $65 a month.
$1,000 is the All-American membership at $85 a month.
The champion level is $125 a month, and that's $1,500 a year.
$2,500 is the Hall of Fame membership.
The Waldorf GridIron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farmstead Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. The music is by Christian Leo. The Waldorf GridIron Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization dedicated to football student-athletes of Waldorf University. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.